It's some year, doesn't matter, a while ago, and you're sitting at home watching someone play Tetris, and you think, this is good? And most humans went on now thinking it was the world plus Tetris, a beautiful combination. Some people decided to go ape and push the limits of the game forever, but you just sat around touching asshole. And then, boom, Tetris Attack, Yoshi, that fucking guy, love him. It's a new game, and you like both these words for different reasons, and you buy the game and say, this shit isn't Tetris, what the fuck? But that doesn't matter. 2 minutes later, because you're making chains, you're making large attacks, and you realize that this is the greatest competitive puzzle game you've ever played. It has strategy, reaction time, planning, skill expression, luck. That one's less good than the others, but forget that. This game is so good, it's addictive. And as you hone your senses, you start realizing that there's a huge skill ceiling, and you just want to push it higher. That's the story I'd say for 6 people who are in love with this game, and the rest of the casual shit bag holes have not correctly identified that this game series would slap majorly with an online ranked system. For the record, I really don't have a point today. I just felt like making a video about something I love rather than the usual large log this game is commentary. In my opinion, this is the king of the puzzle game genre. Tetris is great, but it's just a personal experience. With Panel de Pon, Tetris Attack, Pokemon Puzzle League, whatever you want to play. It's just like it's an explosive race. You battle your opponent, you hit them in the fucking head, you take off your metaphorical pants and drop metaphorical shit all over them. You can instantly realize the extent of your desperation because Yoshi doesn't shut his trap as a chain of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times gets nuked onto you. But say you've never heard of these games, you won't understand the rules, the chains, the way in which you destroy the souls of your opponents, so let's talk about how it works so you may share in my enthusiasm. In Tetris Attack, you are given a board that is 6 blocks wide by 12 blocks tall. You control a 2 horizontal block cursor which rotates the 2 highlighted blocks, or in the event that there's an empty space, it shifts a singular block over. Or if there's 2 empty spaces, it does fuck all. Stop doing that. Utilize your eyes. Now, quite simply, all you have to do is maneuver pieces together to form at least a horizontal or vertical line of 3 of the same color, with 6 colors and a 7th special exclamation point. There's an inherent strategy to being able to see color well. So if you're in kindergarten, it's time to stop playing now and go back to playing with blocks until you're older, little shitbag. Or if you're colorblind, there's also a corresponding shape to each color, so put the blocks away, colorblind guy. It's time to enjoy Tetris Attack. This series actually began in Japan as Panel de Pon, but the localization team decided that Americans would rather play as the green dinosaur man than a bunch of little girls fighting against this Giga Chad man and bird. I don't even know how this video is going to shape up. I almost just want to play the game and narrate. This is so fucking cool. This design is awesome. It's a strategy game that implements your real-time ability. It's a puzzle game that has action going on constantly, but I'll give you a crash course. I'll be like Professor Oak. Surprisingly, this is probably the best version of the game that was ever made, but we'll get to that later. For now, here's the method of your attacks. If you combine 3 similar colored blocks, they disappear, and until the animation resolves, there's an invisible barricade which prevents any piece from intersecting that area. That means blocks above the cleared spots will float, and any piece that's to the side will be blocked from moving temporarily. But on its own, a 3 combo does nothing. A 4 combo will produce a small trash block for the opponent. You lob that shit over immediately, and I like to affectionately refer to that as the dick block. I will elaborate why later, and no, it's not because I'm a subhuman nuthead, but I guess that explanation also works. A 5 combo gives an extended trash block that's nearly 1 full line, and the variations of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and whatever else all give varying amounts of stacks of shit, and with all these combos, a singular clear of blocks against them will turn every trash block into usable pieces. The basic idea is that whoever reaches the top of their stack for long enough will lose, indicated by this crushing animation. You don't wish to be smushed, so you frantically clear to keep ahead of the ceiling, all the while sending over attacks to decrease your opponent's effective ceiling. The ground constantly rises up with new blocks for you to use, and the speed at which this raises up depends on the difficulty setting and the match time. You can also raise the stack up yourself by holding down the shoulder buttons. So in order to really lay down a fucking beating, I suggest getting to the gym and lifting some 5-pound weights, but to really start fucking ass, I suggest some lube. But to really dump the trash on the enemy, you gotta start scoring some chains, and that relates back to the little invisible wall we were talking about earlier. A chain is when you make at least a 3 combo with pieces that are suspended in midair by the invisible wall. Say you clear 3 reds and there's 2 adjacent greens ready to fall, and a 3rd green is on the bottom waiting, and boom, you've made a 2 times chain. This results in a single line bar of trash for your opponent. But if you get another 2nd chain from the now clearing green blocks, you bump that up to a 3 times, and if you did it again, you get a 4 times, and you did it up to 13 times, you dump a full fucking screen on the opponent, and this garbage is here to stay. It's Activision Blizzard drops straight onto your enemy. Now, the giant chunk clears the same way as usual, just by clearing anything that's touching the edge, but instead of every square inch of the garbage becoming usable blocks, it gives you a single layer of new pieces and maintains the garbage above that. So for a 4 times chain, you get 4 layers of garbage that need to be cleared sequentially, so the advantage of of scoring huge chains is that you get a lot of time to continue making plays while your opponent is making amends, because they will now have plenty of time to think about their life and where it went wrong since, they're in defensive mode. In addition to that concept, clearing the exclamation blocks together will give you rows of metal garbage. These block clears from occurring above the metal block, so you get that much more bogged down with those in play. So that's the race. Who can put each other into the defensive position first? And it's not like you lose from being buried. While your stack is completely smushed, you can interrupt losing by clearing anything, so longer animations to clear give you more time, but the real competitive players are playing so fast it's almost fruitless to try and stall yourself. The way you arm yourself with more ammunition is by raising your own stack up. It's an advantage to give yourself a maximum amount of pieces as often as possible, because if you're down to just a few rows of usable blocks and a ton of garbage, you'll get stagnated and will likely just lose. On speed 1, you can make a full course meal, eat it, digest it, shit it, live a full life, take another shit, die, come back, and you'll still be only halfway to the top. On speed 10, if you blink too long, you'll be dead, so there's a constant variable climb to improve your skills and tailor the game to your abilities. That's why it's such a good puzzle game. Say you're someone with immense paneled upon ability and your dickhead friend Bill comes over. You think, what games can a lowly moron like Bill succeed in? Then you realize that Bill can play on the baby speed and you can handicap yourself on the hyper speed, and the two of you can have a fun and interesting match. Unlike other competitive puzzle games where you're straight up 1v1ing with the same speed and boards, it's not so hard to play Tetris Attack with a finagled balance. But that's also the great thing. These games have baller-ass single-player modes with AI that's so good you can always find a sizable challenge even by yourself. This line of games begins with Paneled Upon or Tetris Attack on the Super Nintendo with 4 difficulty settings that increase the speed of the CPU. And moving past the handheld games, which operate under different rule sets, we find our way to a strange oddity, an N64 game that decided Yoshi wasn't a good enough creature anymore. Here's some different fictional beasts, and since Pokémon was setting the world on fire in 2000, kids would buy anything, so here's a reskin of Tetris Attack that runs way better. Enjoy, you bird brain child. But that's not all. This is the powerhouse version of the game. More modes, more levels, and a 5th difficulty, and holy fuck, this is the hardest difficulty in any Nintendo game ever made. Super hard is legit. It's awesome. I won't mince words. They spent years trying to be good enough to complete all 16 levels without using a single continue. You can be as good as you want, but this AI is so fast that they can perform movements no human could ever accomplish. They get totally owned by the dick block though. We'll use this single player adventure to highlight the absolute enjoyment of Super Hard and of Paneled Upon in general. Ignore the fact that this is just early 2000 Pokemon. This is the Puzzle League. Professor Wood is here with his great insight on how to succeed in the world of dropping blocks, but I'll just show you this playthrough and you'll get a sense of the game. So stage 1 in Gary, and he's the easiest opponent in this run, but I have seen this rat fuck take way too long. In this particular run, I get to demonstrate the typical strategy, and it involves the dick block. Oh yeah, here comes the dick block's coming. I'm 0 years old. So if you start with a 4 combo, creating a small block that the AI just absolutely despises because they consciously want to downstack their pieces as much as they can, but this block constantly falls lower and lower and it just messes with their dumb computer brain. After you get a 4 combo on the back of that, you should begin chaining as hard as you can and drop just an anvil of shit on them, and if you're lucky, the dick block bothers them so much they ignore the weight crushing their craniums, and you'll win with a small amount of time. If that doesn't work, you're about to go to war with them for 3 hours. But there's a whole host of techniques that a total god Tracy can show you, but you're just stuck with me, and what I can tell you is that you're constantly going to find new and weird methods of putting blocks where you want them, like up your own ass. I'll just give you a powerhouse session right now. I mean, you've got your bog standard drop, where there's a piece lined up with 2 corresponding pieces, then you clear the way and boom, done, easy does it. That's like a 1-year-old move. And if you're not good at this yet, then like shit, how are you ever going to defeat Giovanni? I'm Giovanni. Then you've got the push out, I dub it, is where you build a floor for the pieces to combine. You have to time it correctly because gravity will make the piece you're using as a floor fall. If you're too early and too late, you'll obviously miss what would have been the 3 horizontal chain because it has passed. It's hard to explain this fucking game. I hope the corresponding visual evidence. Then a super tight timed grab where you pluck a falling piece out of the air to combine with 2 light colored pieces, resulting in a chain. You have to be pretty fucking frame something here. It's not easy to replicate over and over again. I don't know if this would be perfect. Maybe it's like a 2-frame window. Then how about a regular chain's gonna happen, but you time a 3 completion under the falling piece to make a 5 combo 2 chain as well. Describing this game is remarkably difficult. Essentially too early and you produce a 3 combo and are left with 2 pieces that didn't do anything. Hear that, cops? These pieces are innocent. But timed perfectly, you're clearing all 4 and feeling good about yourself because this is another instance of tough timing. Finally, probably as a bug, you can stagger clear chains on parallel rows to gain extra chain bonuses. Here's what that indescribable babble means. Essentially, if you have 2 chains that are going to fall at exactly the same time, they instead combine to become a 2-chain 6 combo. But if you rotate the second chain frames after the first one, you can produce a 3 times chain instead, which is probably superior. I actually can't say with certainty. It's something. It doesn't really matter, but it's interesting to do anyway. Anyway, here is Super Hard broken down. Every opponent is fast, and towards the end, the speed speed is so absurd that if you don't get lucky with how you trap them, there's no degree of attack that is satisfactory to guarantee a win. Like, we win in 17 seconds on Gary, but then check out this Brock battle. I don't have a decisively good start and instead only play moderately well, and it takes me 2 minutes and 44 seconds of stressful oh god play where he only loses because he literally ran out of moves. And he ran out of moves because he's dumb as hell, but still, it was luck. Misty, our third opponent, goes blow for blow with me, and we both send an absolute stack of shit at each other to start the round off. I literally did the dick block strategy, ideally maybe just slightly too low, and she's squaring up, ready to kill still. I mean, 53-second win makes it only seem like, 20 to 30 minutes of pure stress to beat every opponent, but I digress. Lieutenant Surge is a Giga Chad, that's the whole sentence, but this stage is a good example of what happens when you're in big defense mode. You ideally in this position will set up easy chains that are big, but since you're underwater and the opponent is not, he can chain way faster than you can and keep dropping more and more garbage. Still, 135 for a win, fantastic. Then Erica nearly takes 5 fucking minutes. We'll use this as a tutorial on why super hard is insane even if you played this game for thousands of hours. The AI is so fast and basically cheating that you will be clogged with garbage practically permanently. That means you'll have to be so ready to defend yourself with a clear at the top of the screen, and after 5 minutes there's a great chance you'll just get unlucky and not have a clear ready. Besides the fact you really need to lay on a ton of garbage to win against any of these opponents, and they will always seemingly have a clear ready. Also, as the time goes on, the rate at which the screen rise begins to accelerate is crazy. It gets so fast that any lack of a resolving move will have the screen kill you in practically an instant. Like, look at this moment where I go crazy with the tricks back to back to back, setting up a suave 6 chain that does nothing and doesn't matter at all. Fun times playing this game. Koga, the 6th opponent. He's a sixth opponent. That's he fucking fuck. Koga, the 6th opponent, who is genuinely superior to Erica, dies in 38 seconds because the AI shits the bed. Sabrina, the 7th opponent, who is genuinely superior to Koga, dies in 30 seconds because the AI shits the bed. Nice. Do take a look at this attack though. I mean, the creativity of how things fall is so great. Fucking Nintendo, make this game an online rank system and I will never leave the house. I won't even get out of my chair. I won't use one non-thumb cell in my body. I will sit there and be a useless fucking lump shit. Then Blaine shows up and he's 3 minutes of which sucks, but a win is a win. Then Tracy, the worst fuck in the game, is stage 9 and he's just built different. Like, he's built by Satan or something because he's so insanely good for being only stage 9. He legit is always like this for no reason. It takes me 4.5 minutes to put him and his stupid haircut into the ground. Opponent 10 is Team Rocket. They lose in 20 seconds as I dick block them. Let's go. Then it's Giovanni, and yeah, this guy is sometimes a joke and sometimes a pain in the ass. 28 seconds dick block, dead. Good, he wasn't a pain in the ass this time. Now Richie, the 2nd Tracy, is here and he's got the same energy as that asshole because he never loses no matter what you try to do. Good news is I go harder than I have ever gone in my entire life and I succeed fairly fast. Look at that gameplay. Only a minute of pure agonizing stress as he hits me with multiple freight trucks. Lorelei is next and she's an adult woman talking mad shit on this child and I think that's no fair. 26 seconds, get reversed, boom, there it is. Then Bruno is a Titanic man, stage 14, and he loses in 26 seconds as well as I drop a straight up 8 chain on his thick body and he gets surprisingly unlucky. I would like to mention, these last opponents from Richie to Bruno are ridiculously fast and I have had 10-minute battles against them, so this is all very fortunate. Pokemon, gonna catch them all, gonna shove me dick in my ass. Then Gary again, this little rat, except he's faster than every mortal being on Earth now. This fight is worth watching in its entirety. You'll notice how much stuff is just clearing constantly on both sides. When the AI can take on multiple 10+ chains, you realize the game is actually broken. I'm not convinced anyone beat this difficulty when programming the game, at least with no continues. Eventually, through a gauntlet of play, he loses at 331, leaving just the final opponent, Mewtwo, who you can only get one shot at because if you lose, you have to refight Gary, so it's an inherent required win streak. And coincidentally, this was without a doubt the most nerve-wracking, challenging Mewtwo fight I have ever had. Sometimes he plays so fast he runs out of moves and you crush him under a 10 chain. Other times he's a persistent, tall alien rabbit man and he just does not die. This was one of those times. I mean, look at this absolutely ridiculous chain I get. I didn't really want to make a big deal out of it earlier while explaining it, but the grabs are not easy, and watch as I mistakenly do one and then do another one right back to back. This is like the anime moment right here. I just believed in the heart of my ass. And 5 minutes of pure adrenaline-fueled gameplay later, we come out on top for the clean 16-0 super hard record. This run would maybe be only in the top 50 runs on speedrun.com. That should show you the level people are at. The absolute insanity of play. You can get so good at this and it changes every game. Every piece can move in unique fashions with new chains, new combos, new techniques. I absolutely love this game. And yeah, good news for me. It's been pretty MIA for 20 years if you don't count it being featured as a mini game in Animal Crossing or as Planet Puzzle League, which uses the fucking DS stylus this? Holy shit, that's not ideal. The last official version of Panel of the Pawn was part of the Nintendo Puzzle Collection for the GameCube in Japan. I actually have this version, and let me tell you, it's curious why a GameCube game runs way worse than an N64 title. It's so regrettable that Pokemon Puzzle League is the best version of this game ever. It runs great, feels the best, has the most features, and it's currently on the Nintendo Switch Online service, but I need more. I want more. That's the whole point of this video. I hope I have encouraged you to get out there, throw bricks at Blizzard Entertainment, throw bricks at Nintendo, throw bricks at your neighbor, get these companies to stop sucking eggs and demonstrate that you like a brand new Tetris Attack. Or I guess we can settle for Puyo Puyo. It seems like they keep making that. Fucking game pisses me off. Look at these blobs. What the fuck do you want with me, blobs? I hate blobs. Disgusting blobs.